it's not just that. It's not just that. I see them, Mr. Lion, I see them suffering, turning into something less than human. What's good, YouTube? It's your girl Kumari Deshay, and this is a special edition Throwback Thursday. Why They Never Cast Me series that I'm beginning. A lot of you guys may be familiar with me, may not be familiar with me at all, my background. So what I'm trying to do is basically bring that onto the platform to kind of make you guys aware, and it's up to you guys if you rock with the vibe, if you rock with the wave. If you guys want to basically stick around, I would highly encourage you guys to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notifications bell to make sure you guys never miss another video. And without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into this special edition story time, Why Empire Never Cast Me. Alright, so based on this title, I auditioned for Empire. I auditioned for several different films, several different TV shows that you guys are probably aware of. Even if you don't watch it, you may be familiar with the title, may have heard about it. Alright, so the way that this industry is broken up when it comes to the film and television side of it, or at least the television side of it, you have what's called pilot season and you have episodic season. Episodic season usually takes place during the fall season, usually around like August, September, October-ish, and the pilot season picks up around January, after the new year, after the holidays and all of that. And usually runs from January to about March, April, depending on the series, depending on like how everything is set up schedule-wise with the production. So between me working as like part of production crew, between me working on different film sets, like navigating this entertainment industry, I've basically worked behind the scenes, I worked in front of the camera, and my main passion, my main hustle has always been trying to kind of get in front of the camera, putting my talent on display. But it took, I guess, the road that I navigated to realize that I'm not the person that's going to get in this way. What I mean by that is, you know, it's not a talent showcase when you go into audition in a lot of ways, and I didn't know that when I first started. I think what I was very focused on was doing everything that I could in my power to take the support that I had from, you know, my family, which I was very grateful to have, and to take the drive and the hustle that I had just innately. These dreams, these visions, these ideas that I had, and I kind of hit the ground running. I was like, you know, I want to fail forward pretty fast because I got a goal that I'm trying to reach pretty quickly, and I don't necessarily know how to get there. You know, I don't come from industry people, I don't come from wealth. I'm not born with a silver spoon in my mouth, right? So it doesn't change the fact that I still have the support and that I still have these dreams. So how do I get from point A to point B? That was always like my objective, and I hit the ground running at a very early age. Went to Atlanta around 2012 when I actually started my freshman year at Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia, and became a fellow ATLian. And basically, as I navigated this Atlanta film, television, music, film, and television market, I learned a lot of things along the way. I auditioned probably for like everything under the sun. I auditioned for more things than I can even remember off the top of my head. So what I kind of want to do is probably start a Storytime Throwback Thursday series, where I basically put a lot of the content out there that I auditioned for, a lot of the shows, a lot of the films that I've auditioned for, and I kind of highlight the lessons learned. As I was auditioning for a lot of these different projects, for a lot of these different films, for a lot of these different shows, what I wasn't doing was focusing on building my brand. What I wasn't doing was focusing on continuing to put who Kumari Deshay was on the platform. So during the time that I was really heavily, I never stopped, you know, grinding and hustling to achieve this dream, to manifest this vision that I had. But I think what it was is my focus largely became performing for industry execs at a point in time. And I think I did everything I could. Like I ran that course until the wheels fell off, like literally, till I couldn't do it no more. You know, I was between in-person auditions, you know, for everything under the sun, self-tapes, just training, you know, getting in the door, being able to like put my persona, my personality, my charisma, like all of who I am out there for whoever I can grace the presence of to see. That was really my objective, because my mindset at the time was, if I can get in the door with these people, let them tell me no to my face. Like, you feel me? Like, my whole thing was, if I manage to get in the door with you, I don't think that you're gonna tell me no. So that was kind of my focus. And then when I actually did get in the door with these people, and I was still getting like a lot of the encouragement and support, but nothing actually hitting. That just kind of took me on a different adventure, and it took me on a different journey that made me realize, okay, it made me question a lot of things. I was like, you know, it made me question like who the power players really were. It made me question who was really in charge. It made me question a lot of things. It made me question everything. Everything I thought I knew about everything. You know, who I am, who my creator is, what I'm called to do. I went through a lot. I went through a lot navigating just that whole... I went through a lot navigating that the way that I navigated it. And what I will say is that having gone through what I went through, I learned a lot of lessons. I learned that as a no-name talent, what I probably would have benefited from is not abandoning my Kumari Deshay Productions that I was doing at the time, but that I was doing specifically for like certain groups of people or organizations that I was a part of or affiliated with. Like it wasn't for the purpose or sake of building a brand of me to be able to showcase on the platform, so that nobody could at the end of the day tarnish that or turn that into something different. And it also wasn't me realizing the power of having a brand and having a platform where I had the freedom of showcasing my story, my voice, my talent, my vision, the way that I saw it being showcased, and not the way that somebody else kind of saw for me and wanted to turn me into. I think when you have a dream as big as this, like when you have a dream and you dare to dream and there is no roadmap and there is no like representation for what it looks like to actually will that dream into fruition, it's definitely a challenge, but it's not impossible. And I never grew up with the mindset or mentality that having a huge dream was far-fetched or an unrealistic possibility. Like, I was always like brought up with the notion that you can have anything that you put your mind to. So I always knew that I could, because I was never told that I couldn't, until I grew up and got a taste of the world for myself and realized, oh, there's quite a few people out here that's going to tell you that you can't do it, you know. And they're not necessarily going to say it. Some people are going to say it, but some people are going to show it. You know, actions speak louder than words. So you go on enough of these auditions, you have enough experiences, you get enough of these opportunities where, you know, you're getting complimented left and right. You still keep getting all these amazing, huge opportunities, and you're expecting something to hit just because statistically, like at some point, you know, something has, even 1 in a million, right? Like you do some amazing one thing, something is, or at some point, somebody, they're gonna tell you to hang it up, like, you know. And I think at some point, the only people that started to kind of look at me and be like, hey, you know, hey, are you still looking at this route, became the people that were the closest people to me, like the ones that could hurt me the most, because they had been on this journey with me the longest. And so that's enough to impact anybody's psyche, you know, anybody's idea of like everything that they think they know about everything. And this having like happened during a very pivotal transition time in my sister's life as well, when she was first getting to Atlanta. Her whole idea of what it was to kind of navigate this industry on this level, meaning leave home, leave the household, leave the nest, so to speak, and really get out here as a starving artist, you know, grinding, it started to put into perspective what this lifestyle really looked like. So, you know, just like sleeping in your car, being homeless, like adversity, challenge after challenge, like sleeping on people's couches. It's a lot to navigate this road when you have an idea that you can't shake, when you have a vision that you can't shake, when you got a dream you can't shake. So for me, at some point, the hustle became more a matter of making my experiences like make sense to me and make it matter. Like, what does my experience even mean? Like, if nothing ever happens, then this story is just going to die here. If nothing ever happens with this, if so sorry. So yeah, at some point it really just became a matter of me making my experiences make sense to me, and to the people around me that cared to support me and that, you know, dared to dream with me. When you're very close to a situation like that and you see everything that I saw and you're as close to it as I was, it's enough to pause anybody, like I said, and make you rethink everything you ever thought you knew about everything. It's also enough to do all of those things for everybody around you. It's also enough to offset the people that are on this ride and on this journey with you that can't make sense of it and that can't make it make sense. They can't, you know, make sense of the experience, of the journey, of, you know, I vividly remember there was a period where, you know, I picked my sister up from campus and she like, it was so much happening, cars in the ditch, it was mud, I had caught it was a lot happening. I picked her up and she looked at me and she was basically like, it's never good news with you. So like, me being an optimist by nature, me being a light, like the gravity of adversity that I've had to deal with and that I've had to navigate and still try to hold on to this light, it's been a lot. But I think that the toughest battles are given to the strongest soldiers. To whom much is given, much is required. And this thing that I asked for was a very huge thing. You know, it wasn't something small, it wasn't something minuscule. I asked to inspire, heal, teach, and move the world. So I guess I had to go through some things to be able to understand the world around me, to be able to relate to the world around me, to be able to voice the opinion and expression of so many whose voices are unheard, to be able to represent an unheard, unvoiced community. I think it takes people that understand that experience. And so for me to try to make sense of the road that I've navigated, I think that's how this vision is kind of coming together for me now. It's really important for me to be transparent, authentic, and kind of put all of who I am out there for the world to see, because I realized at some point that nobody is going to do it for me. Like nobody, like no matter how many people see it in you, there's not going to be anybody that can walk into your purpose for you. It didn't matter what kind of representative I had, what kind of agent, what kind of opportunity, casting directors were vouching for me, that knew me, whatever the case may be. I think the thing that really dawned on me at some point was that you have to move different. You have to stop expecting different results as a result of doing this thing this way. Few things I learned. Why Empire never cast me. Empire didn't cast me because I was a no-name talent. What no-name talent looks like in this industry is somebody that has never booked. It looks crazy because it's like, okay, in order to no longer be a no-name, somebody has to give you that first opportunity. So, you know, it doesn't matter if you book like indie work or independent film, whatever the case may be, build your resume up. So, you know, get that first project. Having credits on IMDb, things like that. That's a no-name talent when you don't have those boxes checked, or when you're not familiar enough with these crews, like when there's not enough people that can be like, oh yeah, we're familiar with their work ethic, we're familiar with how they work. I do understand that. I understand that because when you are on a big budget production, a lot of times you do not have the time to train people on how to work. You don't have the time to teach people, you know, the things that come with different personalities on set. You don't have the time to kind of give them that whole rundown, and everybody is not built for that. So to kind of filter through the bunch and weed through that, I think there are certain unwritten rules that the industry follows to kind of filter through who they want to work with and who they don't. Another thing that, you know, is a huge deal in this industry is industry wish lists. So I mentioned pilot season, I mentioned episodic season. A lot of times after episodic season ends, it's usually around like November, December, like around the holiday seasons, the bigger holiday seasons towards the end of the year, like Q4. What a lot of these writers prior to the pandemic would be doing, a lot of these screenwriters and creative writers for like the shows that we love and will watch and tune into, films and all that kind of stuff. Film a little bit different because again, they don't follow the same schedule as far as like pilot season and episodic season. Films are a little bit different. When it comes to the shows, the executives have a wish list a lot of times. They have an idea of the types that they want for their project. They have an idea of who they want, like literal names that they want. If they're not, for whatever like reason, able to get those names, if there's an availability issue or there's like literally just an issue with securing the talent, then of course you kind of run down your list of like your next best option, or like anybody that casting directors may have been pitching to you, things like that. So a lot of times, what a lot of people may not be familiar with in the realm of like films, like when it comes to auditioning for shows, when you get out there and audition, you're always auditioning for like not just that project but future projects. So what that means is that every opportunity to step in for an audition is not an opportunity specifically for the project that you're coming in for. It's an opportunity for you to make a mark on the casting team, on the producers, on the directors, if they happen to be there as well. When you make final callbacks, when you get called back, to be able to get a call back like that, or to be able to meet the director on a secondary audition or something like that. These are huge deals. These are testaments to your character, to your talent, to your likability, things like that. So I always made it my business to like give my all with every audition that I had, you know, be off book, be off book when it came to my lines and stuff like that, even if it was a 24-hour turnaround or I had to be in person. I wanted to show that I was really that committed. So I was that one, being able to deliver different characters on the same day. If I got the final callbacks, that would be an awesome opportunity to be able to leave an imprint on the director of the project, as well as, you know, come back for the casting directors and then have them keep me in mind for future table reads, or keep me in mind for like future projects that they feel like I would be a good fit for. Or if they themselves are working on their own independent projects, then they would keep me in mind to give me a call for like a feature or a guest star appearance on whatever segment or independent project that they were working on. So I never looked at it as a loss, but what I looked at it as, you know, even when you lose, never lose the lesson. So with my experience, even though I was always kind of like trying to make sense of, okay, maybe, you know, I was going for every opportunity like I was going to book that opportunity. But after years of going after so many projects and literally never booking any, like statistically, it didn't even add up. What I mean by like statistically, if you go after a number of projects just based off of like mathematics and statistics, you're bound for something to hit eventually, or for something like to be very clearly resonating with you about this not being for you. You know what I'm saying? Like just statistically, the statistics were 100% like opposite of my favor. Like I literally went 1,000,000 for 0. Like that does not happen. That's an unheard of situation. So you can imagine like somebody like me sitting here like just kind of looking dumbfounded, like, okay, damn bitch, you're just not that fucking talented. Maybe that's just it. Like I don't get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like all the shit that I done been through, I done done. Like I'm a fucking joke. I'm a motherfucking lie. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's enough to make anybody, like I said, doubt, question everything. So at some point, you know, all these years riding with me, rocking with me, and just not being able to make sense of it, you know, representatives drop you because they're not making money off you. They're not making money off of you. I get it. You know, it is what it is. So, like, that's another thing that people don't realize. Nobody owes you anything. But if nothing ever hits at the end of the day, then my story never gets told. Nobody can tell that story but me. You get what I'm saying? Because nobody went through it but me the way that I did. There were people that were along the way with me, but there weren't people that went through it in my shoes the way I did. So I can't expect to look at anybody that was with me along the way and be like, damn, like, what happened? Or, you know, why didn't A, B, and C happen? Because it's not like nobody tried. Like I said, what you start to realize is, you know, maybe I was asking the wrong questions, maybe I had the wrong focuses, maybe I had the wrong idea about a lot of different things, like who the power players are, who the shot callers are, all of that. So in moving different, what I started to realize is I have to kind of create my own position of power, so to speak. And what that means, you know, position, if I don't mean like, you know, let me rule the world, let me rule control. What I mean is that I realized that nobody's going to open a door for me, no matter how many people I have lunch with, how many meetings I have with people, how many auditions I go on. Like, what I realized at some point, like, this route, this avenue is not going to happen. Like, if it hasn't happened already, it's not going to. Like, this isn't going to be the door that gets me there. It doesn't mean that it's like in vain. It just means that I need to be moving different, and I didn't know what that different looked like. Again, I don't come from a family of people in this industry. You know what I'm saying? I had to navigate everything from ground zero. So when we talk about starting from the bottom, like, I think that looks different for people because Drake, love you baby, but Aubrey Graham did not start at the fucking bottom when he was waking up at 5 a.m. on Morningside to shoot Degrassi, as you mentioned in your motherfucking song, my guy. Like, you kind of started at the motherfucking middle or top and just kind of kept going. I literally just had to start at the bottom and learn every fucking thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what I'm not gonna do is sell y'all a pipe dream like what I was sold, because I don't want nobody losing their mind trying to figure out why the shit don't add up and why, like, nothing is making sense. Like, I don't want anybody to have to go through what I went through like that. So if I can do anything, and if my purpose is really built on like inspiring, healing, teaching, and moving the world, then I do want to take what I learned in my journey and my experience and give that to somebody else, so that you guys don't have to kind of repeat what I went through trying to navigate it the way I navigated it. So yeah, no name talent. Guess what? You're not going to ever resolve that whole issue of not becoming a name unless you put your stuff on a platform. I don't care if it's your friend's platform, channel, whatever the case may be, or yours personally. At the end of the day, you got to build your table up that people want to have a seat at, instead of trying to knock on doors, cleverly have a clever knock, learn how to pick locks of other people's doors, or try to find your way to somebody else's table, because like that route is not gonna work for everybody. You know, you got to know who you are and what role you play. I'm not saying don't try, but if you tried and you realize this shit just legitimately is not working, then what you might want to incorporate in your strategy is creating a brand, you know, something that helps audiences get familiar with who you are. That's something that I realized. All of these people whose lives I'm touching, whose lives I'm creating these moments with, like, where's that story going? I didn't want that story to die with just me, or just with them holding on to that and just kind of letting it kind of fall to the back of their mind somewhere. Like, yeah, I do remember that girl. Like, whatever happened to her? You know, what the fuck ever happened? Like, I didn't want that to be me. Like, I wanted to be able to make something out of my story and my experience. So yeah, reasons why I didn't get cast wasn't a no name. Plus, when you look at my audition tape, I think I was looking at like the background, blue backdrop. There are like inconsistencies that I kind of see with like my self-tape with the background and all that. Like, I think if I had more people to help set up what that looked like, or if I just had like a better setup or system at the time, perhaps the way that the self-tape came through, like, it wouldn't have had as many distracting features in the background. When it comes to my self-tape, I would make sure my lighting was a lot more on point. I would make sure the setup looked a lot more decent, and I would make sure the volume, I guess, was louder. I probably wouldn't be my own reader, you know. I would try to be a lot more resourceful, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do when you try to make things happen. I think that's another thing. When you are like a one-man show, a one-woman show, like, you poking a lot of holes into a hose and expecting the pressure to still be the same when you try to water the grass, and that's ineffective. Like, jack of all, master of none. I never wanted to be that route, but I've always had to be the person that did so many things for me, because I had these ideas that nobody else was gonna make happen for me. So I had to do it for myself. In doing so, came to realize I have all these different skill sets. you kind of get lost in the sauce when you have all these different skill sets that you don't know how to do, that you don't know what to do with. You can get burnt out pretty quickly if you don't know how to work smart with everything that you have and how to leverage everything that you have wisely. So all of that was a part of my journey, I think, learning what I had and what to do with it. Hence my revelation song. My music was always my outlet to tell my story. You know, when I'm acting, if it's not my own creative work, then I'm essentially interpreting somebody else's body of work, somebody else's vision, somebody else's idea. I love that process. I love being able to do that and breathe life into a vision. But at the end of the day, when it is somebody else's vision, you're relying on somebody else to give you an opportunity. I don't think that's a problem, but I think that if that is the only source that you're relying on, that is a problem. It's no different than relying on one stream of income. You can't. Just like I don't believe you can rely on one source of revenue for income, I don't believe that you can rely on one avenue to make your dreams come true. Like, I don't believe that you can put all your eggs in a basket that somebody else has full control over. I believe that we have power, and I just think it's a matter of us learning how to tap into that power and how to use it the way that God intended us to. And that's, you know, what this life is about in this journey. So I learned a lot along the way. You know, talent is one aspect of it. Having a team is another aspect of it. The network, the connections. Like, it's when you're one person trying to like run all these different areas and do all these different things, it's kind of gonna be a wild situation. At the end of the day, I'm glad that I went for it the way I did. I'm glad that I was able to put myself out there. I'm glad that Leah Daniels was able to like see my auditions and things like that. Like, the things that I'm able to say that I have done, the experiences are, that's God. That's all I'm gonna say. That's truly God. And I'm very grateful, but I'm also grateful just for the other shoe dropping and coming full circle for me. I think the young lady that booked Treasure, she's dope. She's dope. She's fire, as you guys see. Like, you see the daggone tape. You see the final take in Empire Season 5. It's no shade, or no tea, no shade at all. Like, I think what I'm trying to do is make sense of my story and learn the lessons that I'm intended to learn. So it's not about comparing. I think, you know, everybody is dope in their own right. I think we all were created with purpose for a reason. And I think the young lady that booked Treasure, we were just in two totally different boats, totally different backgrounds, totally different experiences. So if you are rocking with Throwback Thursday story times with me, where I basically showcase the different projects I auditioned for and tell you guys why Hollywood never cast me, you know, but I'm putting like a positive spin on it. From the standpoint of lessons learned, then yeah, just go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications bell to make sure you guys never miss another video from me, and stay tuned for the next video. I love you guys, and yeah, I'm gonna see y'all on the next video.
I rose, I got up, I keep climbing. Wake up, I see the sun shining. Sky view, hella views tightly. See the dream come true, put the time in. I rose, man, I'm up, I keep rising. This life is a gift, so keep fighting. Faith, love, and I pray to keep trying. Fly to, I'm a new wave, dive in. A whole lot of money, want a whole lot of cash. See the whole world, wanna make it all last. Whole lot of money, go around to the masses. The foot up on your neck, got my foot up on the gas. Whole lot of money, make the world go round. I see the whole plot, see you hear the new sound. Whole lot of money, mean the world gon' see, mean the world gon' stop like the gas on. I feel like they play the game, I feel like they wanna play. I feel like they wanna stop and feel me, they wanna say it's getting harder to pray. Spend so much time on the way, spend so much time on handling all of the shit on my plate. Feel like I'm all out of time, everything back on the line. I feel like they get at me whenever they get at mine. That's why I stay on the grind, foot on the gas and I ride. Pedaling heavy, it's like I'm in it, I do it or die. How can they say That's the dream, asking, I put it away. Asking a question, so many find out too hard to convey. It's pretty hard to accept, they gotta fight to correct. This shit is systematic and we gotta fight to protect. So many fighting for pay, I gotta fight to collect. Rethinking all that I ever thought I needed for respect. I gotta fight to protect all of my energy kept. Ain't much I got in me, I'ma give it whatever is left. I rose, I got up, I keep climbing. Wake up, I see the sun shining. Sky view, hella fusing tightly. See the dream come true, put the time in. I rose, man, I'm up, I keep rising. This life is a gift, so keep fighting. Faith up and I pray to keep trying. Fly to, I'm a new wave, dive in. A whole lot of money, want a whole lot of cash. See the whole world, wanna make it all last. Whole lot of money, go round to the masses. Foot up on the neck, got my foot up on the gas. Whole lot of money, make the world go round. I see the whole plot, see you hear the new sound. Whole lot of money, mean the world gon' see, mean the world gon' stop like the gas on E.